Hi, I'm Mark Tilley from Dirtbike Magazine, and you're watching another Dirtbike Magazine video. Today we're getting our first chance to ride the 2024 Beta 450 RX motocross model. Now, you've seen it in Supercross, you've seen the hype around it. Our very own Travis Fant got to shoot the race team a few months back, but now we're actually getting our first chance to ride this motorcycle. It's got a platform that is familiar to Beta, maybe not familiar to the masses, but familiar to Beta because it does share a frame and some other stuff that the off-road models have. This does have a aluminum subframe instead of a composite subframe, so the back of the bike is going to look slightly different and be slightly different than what the off-road models are, but overall the main package is familiar with Beta. I'm lucky I've been able to ride a lot of Beta dual sports, a lot of Beta off-road bikes throughout the years, so I'm really interested to see what is going to be different on this motorcycle. It has KYB suspension, it has Nissan components, it's got hydraulic clutches, a lot of stuff that we've come to know as what Beta's doing. The seat comes off without having to use tools. So they brought a lot of off-road stuff into the motocross market. And some of the benefits that we really like just looking at this bike, Beta has build your own Beta program to where you can kind of customize. And if you look at this motorcycle, it looks like it has a lot of customized pieces to it, but they have additional throttle cams that come with this bike. We've been talking lately that a lot of the manufacturers are going to really big buttons and controls on the handlebars. Well, Beta's done the exact opposite of that. It's got two little buttons to start it and to stop it, and then built into the crossbar pad of the handlebar, it's got the traction control and the mapping switch. So it's kind of cool. It takes it off of the bar per se, still up to where it's easily accessible, but bringing something new into the whole program. This bike has a lot of cool looking stuff. Just at a glance, it reminds me of all of the project bikes that we do, like powder coating on the rear swing arm. It's got billet looking parts on it everywhere. In general, it looks more like a project bike than it does an actual bike that you would see from other manufacturers on the dealer floor. So we're excited about that kind of stuff. It jumps out at you. When you look at this motorcycle, it completely jumps out at you and it looks like a factory race team motorcycle. I mean, down to the pipe having a different finish on it than what we're normally used to, having guards in places, and the pegs are a different peg and they say Beta on them. And it's really cool that we're seeing this happen. We can't wait to see how this thing performs because it's another brand new motorcycle that's coming into motocross. That's just good for the sport. So we can't wait to ride this thing. That's enough talking. We're gonna come back at the end of this video and give you our very first impression of our first day testing. So we just got done with the first day of testing on the 2024 Beta 450 RX motocross model. I gotta say, personally, I'm pretty impressed with the motorcycle. I've gotten to ride a lot of off-road betas, never a motocross beta because this is their first one. But it's a thing to where the bike doesn't do anything exceptionally well, but it does everything pretty good. The motor is on the softer side when it comes to the power band. I got to use second gear a lot. On some of the testing that we did today, being the first day, we were so excited to get on the bike and test that, you know, as you can see in the video, conditions weren't ideal, but we got a pretty good idea of what this bike's all about. It's got really smooth power from top to bottom. You know when you hit the rev limiter because it starts screaming back at you, but it does make really good power all the way through. And then if you click up, it carries that next gear really well too. No violence, no, you know, if you're looking for a crazy hit, not really maybe the bike for you. Handling wise, it feels plush everywhere, but still feels like it stays up in the stroke. So it's not bouncing you around everywhere. And we weren't on a dry track today. We were on a fairly sloppy track. We got to have a lot of fun, but it's gonna be really interesting to see when we have it on a dry track and see what it does do. Brakes are really good. The Magura clutch, really good. The bike definitely doesn't like to be started in gear, but other than that, the hard seat is something that for me, I've become accustomed to Beta having a hard seat like that, but that's just normal for me for riding a Beta. Overall, it's really, really stable at higher speeds. Coming down Mount St. Helens and going up Mount St. Helens under power, and even under braking, it didn't move around a lot, felt pretty solid underneath us. It doesn't have an obnoxious exhaust sound. It's throaty and good, everything that you would kind of want a four-stroke to be. They have a lot of stuff that you can test. They have different throttle cams to make the power come on sooner, make it kind of draw out a little bit. So we didn't get to test any of that stuff today, but we did get to do some traction control stuff. And unlike some of the other bikes where traction control will do a little bit of like cutting out and like doing a little couple weird things, this one didn't seem to do that. We found some harder terrain and some slipperier terrain to do it. It just kind of easily goes through it and worked well. So the bike doesn't feel wide. It feels longer, more laid out, kind of like maybe what like a Cowie would be, maybe lengthwise a little bit longer in a really roomy cockpit, but it feels really thin, especially up by where the tank juncture is with the radiators and when you're sliding up on the bike and sliding back on the bike. This being a steel frame bike, definitely not as rigid as some of the other steel frame bikes. It's a little bit more pliable overall. Again, the suspension, although it felt like it stayed up in the stroke, it did have a plush feel to it. So I'm looking forward to riding it a lot more. And we had other people ride it. I wasn't the only one that rode it today, but everybody else kind of said the same thing about really easy to use power, plush suspension, no major harshness. This bike looks really good. Like we were saying in the introduction, it looks kind of like more like a project bike and it looks like a race bike. This is the first day of testing on this motorcycle. As you can see in the video, testing wasn't ideal testing conditions. So we're gonna spend a lot more time on this motorcycle, test out some pipes and test out some suspension stuff and kind of go from there and maybe throw some different tires on it to see if the bike reacts different. We're definitely looking forward to doing a lot more testing with this motorcycle. Overall, Beta has a great platform to start off with, and it's gonna be interesting to see where we can go from here. got a little bit more time on your hands and you want to check out some other 2024 450 videos that we've done, click the video thumbnail now. And as always, check out dirtbikemagazine.com for all the latest off-road and moto industry news. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay up to date with all of our latest releases, because we got vlogs, we got raw videos, we got two-stroke videos. That'll keep you up to date with all the new videos that we have coming out.